everybody. Over on Instagram, we were talking about insecurities and the insecurities that they have and what that kind of does to us, how it influences our life. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll link that down below. A lot of you responded, and it's amazing how different everybody's insecurities were, but how similar they were also. One girl said that she broke her nose when she was young and she was self-conscious about it being crooked. Another person said that she thinks that maybe people just really wish that she would just go away and shut up. A lot of you said that you felt like people wouldn't care or didn't want to hear what you had to say. That I'm not as smart as other people. No one wants to hear me. Imposter syndrome. There was a lot that sounded like it made y'all feel like you couldn't speak up or you couldn't be exactly yourself, which is kind of what mine was too. I wrote a post about one of my biggest insecurities, and my biggest insecurity is generally I feel invisible, which is kind of funny. First of all, because no one is invisible, but I'm insecure feeling in that if I didn't push myself on people, if I didn't speak up and didn't force myself into a circle of friends, that they would just not notice that I wasn't there and not really care. Sometimes I felt like, oh, there's nothing noticeable about me. I'm not pretty, I'm not as fun as these other people. And it's kind of interesting. All of these insecurities seem to make us feel like we're not as good as so-and-so over there or as all of these other people. But then everybody is having these insecurities. Every single person almost is thinking they're not as good as this other person. But that other person, with all of these responses that I got, that other person is probably thinking the exact same thing about themselves, about you, that you are more impressive, that you're better. And that's crazy. We're all thinking these same things, sometimes letting that influence us in that we don't speak up and we don't act like ourselves and we don't influence the world in the way that we could if we were acting completely like ourselves. And that's really sad because we are so individual and each person is so incredible because of those differences. Because we're different, we get to contribute these amazing things. It's like a painting. There are so many colors, and if an artist just used one color, it would be a square of orange or a square of yellow, which is not very exciting. If everything was orange, I'm pretty sure we'd get tired of it. And even just a couple of colors. If you have two colors, that's a lot more interesting, but still, that can be pretty boring. If you have a painting that's two colors, maybe some abstract paintings, but you would put it on a wall that's then a different color from those two colors, and you would have it in a room where the carpet was a different color. Everything needs variety. So an artist uses all sorts of colors. I don't know how many colors there are in the world, but all the different shades and tones and whatever other terms they use, all of those, an artist will use all of those in a painting, and usually paintings with the most colors are the most beautiful. I'm thinking of like paintings of like a forest or a sunset, landscapes. The more variety, the more colors, the more differences, that is what makes things interesting and beautiful and complete looking. And I think it's the same way with groups of people, families, whatever. We all have these different strengths and we each all have different weaknesses, which is a great thing. Then other people can come in with their strengths and then we get their perspective, and that just makes everything more beautiful and it works together so much better. My thoughts on insecurities is that they're okay to feel. The feeling of insecurity that I am invisible or that I don't want to be invisible, that I want to be noticed, that sometimes I want people to appreciate me and what I do, that's an okay thing to feel. I don't want to keep it, and if there's a chance for me to get rid of it or things I can do to work on that feeling so that I'm not afraid of that all the time, then I will do those things. But also, it's okay that I feel that insecurity. One of you said, like I mentioned earlier, that you were insecure about your crooked nose. And that is just fine. That's just fine to feel that. Now you can choose, we can all choose, to get that fixed or to have it the way that it is. I have a small mouth, and I used to be so self-conscious about it on videos, especially, but also sometimes in person. It would make me feel uncomfortable participating in a class, like making a comment or sharing my ideas, because I was afraid like people would notice my mouth when I was talking. Other times I never thought about it, but sometimes I would just feel so insecure about that, and I would be like, I have such a small mouth, and it's funny looking, and it makes my cheeks look like they're big. That stopped me from making some comments and sharing some ideas, and I have noticed a difference as I'm not insecure about that anymore because of work that I have done. People like my ideas. They want me to share. As I share my ideas, I get their feedback, and then I get to take my ideas with those other people and run with it. So that is a huge benefit, being able to get over that insecurity or just ignore it, which is fine, which is great. A lot of insecurities we won't get rid of, but we just have to ignore sometimes. It will still be good. It will still be a good thing. Even if the insecurity isn't gone, you can still get good things from ignoring it, from letting yourself feel that and be like, that's okay. I feel insecure about my small mouth right now, and I'm gonna say what I want to say, even if they notice it, because that's fine. And they're insecure about another thing. That's the other thing to remember. They're thinking about their own insecurities, which I know you've heard a million times, but it's true. So I hope you all have a good afternoon.